I am a research fellow for the UNU's in-house think tank called the UNU Centre for Policy Research, which means that I assist in research related to UN-related policies. For example, we are working on inputs into the UN's Peace Operations Review as well as the Peace Building Review. And I'm also a co-editor of the upcoming edited volume titled Deepening the Japan-India Partnership, and I'm also a co-author of a chapter within that volume related to energy security. Well, for years now, we've seen that Japanese and Indian politicians have talked quite a bit about deepening the ties between their two countries, but these words have generally not translated into concrete policy action. And more recently, we've seen that the two prime ministers, Narendra Modi and Shinzo Abe, have both invested quite a bit of time and energy into this relationship. So we really think that this is the moment to capitalize on this momentum and turn these past words into actions. And so our volume is intended to lay out a framework for how Japan and India can create a strong partnership for the future. Well, as two of Asia's largest democracies, it seems that Japan and India should be natural partners. And then beyond that, if you look into the issues, you see that there are quite a few converging or complementary interests between the countries. And for the purpose of our volume, we've divided the relationship into four categories of economics, energy security, global governance, and security and strategy. And just a few examples of the common interests I'm talking about. First, in terms of economics, we see that Japan has a shrinking and aging population, whereas India has a growing population with a large proportion of young people who are going to need stable employment in the future. And in terms of energy security, we see that both countries are large importers of fossil fuels. And in terms of global governance, both countries have a strong interest in reforming the United Nations Security Council. And lastly, in terms of global strategy, both countries have a strong interest in hedging against the growing assertiveness and power of China, while they both also need to maintain a strong working relationship with the Chinese. So these are just some of the examples where we can see that Japan and India have strong converging interests. The fundamental issue facing both countries is that they are both heavily reliant on imported fossil fuels. And this is especially true for Japan after the Fukushima disaster of 2011. And one policy that we have focused on is called a joint crediting mechanism, which would allow Japan to transfer new technologies to India in order for India to slow its growth in carbon emissions. And this would also give carbon credits to Japan towards meeting its own emissions reduction goals. And we believe that this kind of policy would be useful in areas like energy efficiency, clean coal use, or renewable energy. So this is just one example of the type of policy that we're advocating for. Well, we have a wide range of policy options in mind, so I'll talk about just two of them right now. First would be the joint procurement of natural gas, because both of these countries, Japan and India, are net importers of natural gas, which means that by working together, they might be able to secure better pricing mechanisms. And secondly, we're advocating for the creation of a regional energy security forum in Asia, which would act as a sort of parallel organization to the International Energy Agency in terms of advocating for energy security and also best practices in the energy sector. So those are just two examples of the policies we have in mind, which span from the short term to the much longer term as well.